Today on Weekend at the Movies, we'll be discussing the latest in rock castings, what's next in regards to Black Panther, Wesley Snipes, and finally, we'll take a second trip to Sin City. All that and more on Weekend at the Movies. Thanks for sticking with us here on Weekend at the Movies, and we will start, as we usually do, by looking at the box office, which we haven't had a chance to look at in a couple weeks, but that's okay because the same movie has been basically ruling the box office for the last better part of a month now, and that would be Guardians of the Galaxy, which once again comes in at number one. You know it's a bad weekend at the box office when the number one movie only brings in $10 million.
I don't know. 10 million is a lot of monies. There's 10 million of
them. And also when your number one movie is in its sixth week of release. So I don't know if that's saying something real good about Guardians of the Galaxy or real bad about all the other competition.
Kind of both.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. Hanging tight at number two, again, just like last week, no change. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's Be Cop jumped up from number 5 all the way up to number 3. If I Stay went from 3 to 4, and November Man crept up one spot into the top 5. I think the cricket sound is appropriate right there. That brings Guardians of the Galaxy with the $10.3 million it brought in this week. Domestically, it brings it up to $294.7 million against that $170 million budget. So it's doing phenomenal. Next week we'll surpass $300 million, which, by the way, it also just this week jumped into all-time domestic top 50 territory.
Nice.
So in the last week, it has passed Home Alone, Monsters, Inc., a pair of Harry Potter films, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Man of Steel, The Empire Strikes Back, one of the Twilight films, Inception, Up, and most recently it passed The Sixth Sense, and now holds a firm spot at number 50, right behind another. Here you go. Guardians of the Galaxy 50, 49 Harry Potter, 48 Twilight, 47 Twilight, 46 Harry Potter, 45 The Hobbit. So I guess it's going to surpass a bunch of Harry Potter and Twilight stuff here in the next week.
All right.
So
it's a good movie. It deserves it.
It's a good movie. Nothing really too much to mention, I don't really think, about this week at the box office. I mean, it's kind of just the exact same as it was last week. And even though we didn't talk about it, I think everybody in the country knows that Guardians of the Galaxy is doing pretty good.
I was hearing that The Giver was doing actually poorly, but it's already made its budget.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's doing as well as maybe they had hoped to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's already made its money back. As have Let's Be Cops made its money back.
Yeah.
The 100-Foot Journey. Lucy is still standing tall in there in the 7th week, still in the top 10 area.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that.
And Boyhood, a lot of hype on that one. It's for somewhat of a limited release and limited, obviously, marketing behind it. It's in its 9th week, and it's still bringing in over $1 million. So that's pretty good.
And I mean, that movie has the buzz behind it. Like, there's so many people talking about it.
And Ghostbusters has added $3 million to its domestic gross from 30 years ago. So that's always fun when they do that and kind of bump themselves up in the standings a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the yearly totals, obviously we have a new leader. Well, not even just a new leader, but a substantial leader now. Guardians of the Galaxy at 295, and Captain America is in second at 259, so it's not even close. Guardians of the Galaxy is way out in front, and followed by Captain America, the Lego Movie, Transformers, and Maleficent, with X-Men just a little bit behind Maleficent. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of the box office. Anything that you guys wanted to bring up from any movies that you were looking at, or anything related to the box office?
I just thought about Let's Be Cops made quite a lot more than its budget. So we're probably going to get a Let's Be Cops 2, which is the worst thing ever.
Well, at least they should say Let's Be Cops Again or something.
Yeah,
no,
but
it should. I like Let's Be Cops 2, but
TOO?
now it's like ladies, you know? It's like, oh man, they were cops. Let's be cops too.
Oh, Let's Be Cops as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as
They
it's not
could
the
do
number
that.
2.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Well-
Recasting comedies, though, is usually a bad idea.
These two guys made us a bunch of money. Well, you know what we should do? Get people at an exact opposite.
Right.
Another sign that it was not necessarily a great week at the box office, as far as like the new released films, the highest ranking one was 12th this week. You had to go down 12 spots to find a new release from this weekend. The Identical. So I don't
even know what that movie is.
Yeah, I don't remember what that is even about.
I'm sure I've watched its trailer.
It opened in nearly 2,000 theaters, so we should have heard about it.
Oh,
But
no.
we didn't. That's what happens when we fall asleep for a couple weeks.
Take a snooze.
All right. Well, getting into some of the movie headlines. I know this is somewhat old, but I wanted to bring it up just to do it here. Some people are probably familiar with this character and this actor, and some of the roles that he's played over the years. I know I probably most know him from his role in Jurassic Park, even though that's probably not even close to fair given his whole career. But Richard Attenborough, Oscar-winning director of Gandhi, died at the age of 90, following the deaths of Robin Williams, along with Joan Rivers. A lot of people dying lately. But I don't know. I most remember him as what was the name of that character in Jurassic Park? Shoot,
The Clever Girlgan.
that was not it.
Oh.
John Hammond. John Hammond, the guy that was running the park, that set up the park in the original Jurassic Park. I liked him in that role. Obviously, he's played a lot of other things as well. Do you guys remember him from any film?
That time he said "clever girl" in Jurassic Park.
I probably most remember him from the Miracle on 30 whatever street?
34th.
34th Street, whatever. But that was a good movie.
It's also in Hamlet, Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff, directing and acting. So, losing another individual in the film industry. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, giving us a Sandman update. Apparently, he is currently working on the script. Neil Gaiman's comic Sandman, and he's both producing and directing that.
Ooh, fun.
Nate,
What?
you said fun. Why?
I mean, I like the idea of him branching out and doing more stuff. I've never read The Sandman. I don't know anything about it.
He's saying that it's the same group, a lot of the same team that worked on the Christopher Nolan Batman films.
Oh, no.
Still,
Well, I guess it's
script, but I don't know. Matt, what's your familiarity with the Sandman?
I have read the first issue of the original Sandman. It didn't do it for. It's like I've read a lot of Neil Gaiman and I like a lot of his stuff, but that first issue of Sandman, like if that had been a brand new book, I would not have picked it up. And then a year later, everyone would be like, "Man, are you reading Sandman?" I was like, "No, that sucked. Why would you read that?" But now here we are. It's like 12 volumes in, and everyone loves it, and yada yada. I don't know. I think that the Nolanverse Batman crew, or at least the feel of the Nolanverse Batman, works better with Sandman than it does Batman.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
can see that.
that might be better. I mean,
Why? I had a question for you. Not to interrupt you, but
No,
as
it's
much, and I guess I've never asked you guys your specific opinion on all of the Nolan Batman films, but as much praise as those films got initially, both with the character, with Batman, the Joker, and just the darker feel, and more of a serious take, and everybody really loved it. It got Oscar attention. It seems like there's an overwhelming disdain for it as years go by. Is that just me, or do I just feel like everyone always is trying to rip on that, even though initially it was so loved?
I have been strong in my opinion since about a year after Batman Begins came out.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw it in theaters, I was like, that's not bad. And then, like, all it takes is one viewing and a not 100% serious, lights down setting to realize that there are a lot of issues in this movie.
Which film did you like the best out of the three?
Well, I didn't even see the third one.
Okay.
And the second one I saw about a year after it came out on DVD. Well, when it came out on DVD, like a year after it was out of theaters. And it had been hyped to the point where it's like it couldn't have lived up to its expectations.
Gotcha.
So, can I say none of them?
Nate, what was your experience, or what's your opinion on the Nolan films?
Well, my favorite is Inception. No, my favorite is the first half of the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. The first half of the Dark Knight. I get bored after it. Like I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, and like after. I don't know, the Joker blows up the hospitals. I'm like, all right, that was enough for me. I saw the Joker. I'm done. Like the Joker's really the only reason to watch that movie. I feel.
But you guys are. I'm not alone that it was very much hyped at the beginning as being super great.
Oh, it was yeah. Like people were just like, you have to see this movie. And I think,
do you hear anybody saying that type of stuff now, or is it everybody's now kind of getting on your guys' bandwagon of it's not as great as everyone made it out to be?
Well, I think the issue is we saw it, and then now we're like, well, that was good, but the issue with me is that it's so joyless. Like it doesn't have any fun.
No fun.
The only parts that are fun are when the Joker's doing stuff in the second movie. And then the third movie was so, like, it wasn't boring, but it was so just serious, and everyone was being frowny-faced. And, like, I just couldn't take it, like, I couldn't get into it because, you know, of its tone. And
see, before the Nolan Batman films, I think a lot of people associated superhero films with, and I'm not saying this as though it's a negative, but they associated them with a degree of campiness, a degree of maybe cheesiness.
That's super negative. Like, it is negative.
I say that because I don't have a better word to describe that, but I mean, that's kind of how they associated superhero films, which a lot of people love. A lot of people love the fun, you know, humor-filled, don't take yourself too serious type thing, or maybe take yourself serious, but, you know, in a different vein. I think that's how people associated superhero films until the Nolanverse came around, and then people kind of saw more, and I'm talking about, like, people that aren't as familiar with the characters from reading comics, etc., and knowing the darker side already, just kind of your lay, you know, everyday Joe, saw the Nolan films and kind of took a superhero film more seriously, maybe for the first time, and so it had an effect in that way. But do you feel like maybe then Marvel coming immediately in and kind of barraging us with the fact that they could do both? They could give us the serious superhero film, but yet still make it fun, humorous, etc., and that it was such a barrage of them, you know, one film after the other, that we kind of just pushed the Dark Knight stuff to the side.
I think that's it. Like, ever since the Avengers, it's like that's how you make a superhero movie now. And so, looking back, the older stuff kind of, like, because wasn't the Dark Knight Rises was so, like, hyped to the point where it was like, this has to be better than the Avengers, right?
And then it came out at the same time as the Avengers, same year,
right?
And it basically got just pushed aside.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I think what it was before the Dark Knight, they were making comic book movies that felt like cartoons, and then the Dark Knight happened and they were super serious, and then Marvel came and they're making movies that feel like actual comic books.
They kind of found the happy medium.
Yeah.
Between the two. I mean, literally, DC had all of the momentum. It's weird to say this, but DC had the momentum when it came to superhero films.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know, not very long ago. And now that's almost not even a thought.
Yeah,
Like,
like they were big in the 90s.
like they were big in the early 2000s, but man, nothing like Marvel these days.
Yeah,
I don't know,
seriously.
Matt, are we way off in that type of trying to figure out why the sway has gone away from the Dark Knight films?
No, I think that's fairly accurate. I mean, and when you go to when you say campiness, like, and if you think about it, like the Batman movies have always had a level of campiness, so yeah, Batman hadn't done himself any favors. But then even still, like you think of Daredevil and Elektra, where it's like there was points when they were so silly, even unintentionally so, that they had that feel still. Like
Yeah.
it was a thing until this Marvel movie universe did what it's doing. But I don't get how Warner Brothers can see all of the money Marvel's making with every one of these movies. All of them are huge hits. And they go, you know what? We're going to copy their success by doing a bunch of movies. We're going to ignore the fact that they're funny. No jokes ever.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like the fact that they said, "Look, we were successful with the Dark Knight films. We can do this again," and just ignoring the changing landscape that is, pop, society and pop culture and everything. Like, it's like, no, we did that and it worked once. We'll do it again, and it'll work
Yeah.
again. Like, and it's not just that Marvel was able to do the funny and the entertaining, and still stay somewhat serious. But then look at this year; they even pushed it further. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is destroying things,
Yeah, seriously.
and
And it was
that's even
super
further.
like tongue in cheek. Like they didn't even care about their continuity and stuff in the movie. It
Right.
was like,
It was like Marvel said, "We did this. Now we're going to push it even further," and it's still going to work.
dude. Okay, so I feel terrible, Matt. I believe I'm correct on this, but I might be wrong. Isn't Jeff Johns like one of the bigger guys in DC now, and he's like overseeing the movie aspect of it?
I think that's true. He became continuity editor
Right.
a few years ago, I know.
Like-
he still writes, but I think he mostly oversees the whole continuity of the comic book universe, and I think they're having him do the same thing in the movie universe.
Is that just the continuity stuff, or like I thought he was like in charge of
think
DC
he's
Entertainment?
orchestrating big elements. I don't think he's telling people like, well, he may go up to the writer of the Batman Superman movie and be like, make sure these 5 events happen.
Right.
And things like that, or make sure you follow. We want
Okay.
these characters to be like this, but I don't think he's doing any of the macro stuff that'll make or break a movie.
Because I was really worried that he would he's involved in the decisions of no jokes and stuff like that. It's like, come on, Jeff.
No, that doesn't sound like Jeff Johns at all. He's
No, I know.
fun writer. That sounds like Dan Didio.
Really?
Oh, Didio himself said, "Joke books don't sell. We're not doing funny comics ever again."
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh wait,
and then
Dan Didio. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting confused with Paul Dini. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no. Dan Didio, who was editor-in-chief
Yeah, is he still
7-9 years ago.
Is he still
Editor-in-chief? I don't think so.
okay?
He's like hanging out there, still letting DC take flack for him being on their payroll, and then occasionally writing really bad comic books.
Really? Okay, cool. Whatever. I don't mind Didio, but
He's a cool guy. I mean, we saw him at many panels, and he's an interesting, fun guy.
yeah,
I dislike his executive decisions,
right.
stemming from all the way back from killing off Nightwing. Well, saying he's going to kill off Nightwing to killing off all the super buddies. Like, that was one thing that really pissed me off. He's like, hey, funny books don't sell. You know those really popular funny books that we sold? I'm going to kill each character off individually. How's
I'm
that
sorry,
for a
Kevin.
That's okay. It's entertaining. I'm learning things.
Right. I had a
Yeah.
point and I forgot, but never mind.
We'll get
My
back
point
to
is Dan Didio can eat it.
it.
I'd give him
Big
a
one.
hug if I saw him in real life.
One of us is giving him a hug. One of them is telling him to eat it,
No, I'd give him a hug.
and
I'd be
tell him
like,
to eat it.
Now you need to eat it.
Eat this hug.
Oh no.
Matt, you love fantasy films.
I do.
Well, how about Vin Diesel teasing us with the first
Oh.
image from The Last Witch Hunter? Breck Eisner, director of The Crazies. If you guys I don't know if you've seen that film or not. A lot of people loved it. Apparently, giving us a new fantasy adventure where Diesel plays an immortal witch hunter, co-starring Elijah Wood and Michael Caine. Matt, your thoughts?
My thoughts, modern day witch hunting, right? Because it says it's in New York. Um, I don't know. Modern fantasy's not the same. I don't quite know what it's going for. It looks interesting. I'll probably want to go see it, until I see the trailer, and then maybe we'll see. I never was impressed with anything Vin Diesel's ever done, but I've also not seen the Riddick movies.
I haven't either. Partially because at one point in my life I swore off all Vin Diesel films.
No.
I don't mind him, and I think he fits the role he's supposed to fit very well in movies, where he's like just like a very, I'm a kill guy. I'm bald. Shoot.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't fault him for that. I mean, we need action stars, and it
He's
can't
a good
all be
one.
Liam. We can't all be Liam Neeson. So
Right.
True. Also, I find this article somewhat interesting. There's been some rumors speculating because Joss Whedon had filmed some of Avengers: Age of Ultron in South Africa, so a lot of people were saying that maybe Black Panther would wind up with a cameo role in that film. And then Stan Lee said some things that caught some people's attention in the last couple of weeks, saying that eventually, this is a quote from Stan Lee, eventually all the superheroes are going to have their own movies. They are already working on Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, and the Black Panther, and there are others I am not allowed to talk about. So what about that? What about all the superheroes getting their own movies, or what about specifically Black Panther getting his own solo treatment film? Nate, what do you think?
I don't know. It's too minis. Too
Too
many
minis?
movies.
Too many
No.
movies.
What about Scarlett Johansson? What about her?
We're not talking about Scarlett Johansson right now.
every time they say this is gonna be a new Marvel movie, that should be the question. What about ScarJo?
Why?
What? As far as you guys know the character probably more than I do. What about Black Panther would either make him work or not work in a solo project?
Well, he's a stealth character, so that really, wow. That I was gonna say, like, that works better in movies because then he could be like sneaking around. I guess I'm thinking of Dungeons and Dragons, where it's like you want your solo characters to be stuff. Like, it'd probably be boring in a movie to have a guy just sneaking around for an hour and a half.
No, they made
No, can't name one.
Splinter Cell will be out next year. Look for it. You know, I don't know. They could make it like Mission Impossible 1, where there's a healthy mixture of sneaking and funning.
Funny.
I was gonna say like punching and fighting at the same time, and it came out as funning.
That's what funning is from here on out. Do you think he does a better job as a character being someone that's a side character to someone else that's actually carrying the film?
No, I don't know. He's a good member of the Avengers, but he's not a good buddy guy.
Gotcha.
He's the king of Wakanda, which is the number one vibranium producer in the world.
Damn.
Which is the material that Captain America's shield's made out of. Like he's really good as like a leader role, which is weird because it's like you don't need him and Cap, although sometimes the two of them together can be fun. I'm just trying to think of all the things he's done. Like, he didn't join the Illuminati. He was 100% against that.
100%.
I don't know if he can make a movie about things he didn't do.
Wow, he didn't do it, like, verbally.
You can make a TV show about things you don't do.
What's that called?
Seinfeld.
Oh. I was gonna say all of the DC movies, in which they're entirely different cast and not related to the movies.
No, I think there's a tagline about Seinfeld being a show about nothing.
That was the joke in the TV show. Yeah. It was a great show. I love Seinfeld.
True.
I like Seinfeld more than the Black Panther.
Yeah.
But the Black Panther's fun. Like, I want him. Like, they did such a great job with the Falcon, who I would say is about as, to me, before going into that movie, he's about the same as the Black Panther. It's like, he's a guy who is a part of the Avengers sometimes, but I don't really know enough about him. I do know MTV did a Black Panther cartoon, and it was really bad. But it was MTV doing a Marvel cartoon. I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, Marvel cartoons don't fare as well as Marvel movies. That's just kind of the way it's been.
Except for the '90s stuff was amazing.
Well-
yeah, but like if you look at the whole from beginning to end, it seems like DC has had a better handle on the cartoons, whereas Marvel has far outshined on the movies.
Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
Looking at sequels, remakes, reboots, we talked about him a few weeks ago. Wesley Snipes. Apparently, you know how he had said like he would have done things different if he knew what he knew now. Well, I guess he can put his money where his mouth is because the star is set to return for the 4th outing of Blade.
Nice.
I'm so excited to see him be 51 years old and being Blade, being like, no, I've learned things. I saw the Avengers in theaters once. Like, I don't know, man. When I read that news article like 3 weeks ago, I was just like, what is this guy thinking?
This quote,
and now he's going to hit the theaters, and it's like, yes.
Are they going to be able to make him in continuity?
Vampires don't age. Why do you look like you're 50?
The quote in here, just the fact that he's saying this like it's common knowledge or like this is exactly true, quote unquote here from Wesley Snipes. Some of the things we did in the early parts of the franchise were experimental, and now they've become customary in a lot of the Avengers films and other comic book adaptations.
I love it.
Like what?
It's so delusional.
What's he talking about?
Give an example. Back up. You need facts to back up your crazy things.
I want to know what these experimental things he did were that Avengers took and did better.
I don't even know.
Oh,
like spinning around shots. Like, is it the cinematography? Is it the pacing? What is it?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Let me know.
I think this guy's literally lost his mind. No. Not even figuratively.
I really want to see Blade 4 though. I'm totally down for that. I really want it to be in continuity with the Avengers. I want vampires to exist in the Avengers universe.
Oh, it's not made by Marvel, right? It's New Line Cinema.
Right.
Dang it.
So your dreams are shattered instantly.
Automatically wrong.
Also in remake reboot news, Charlie Hunnam, who a lot of people are familiar with, apparently, and I should be because he's been in a lot of different casting rumors over the last year and a half, to star in Escape from New York remake, Snake Plissken. Anybody seen Escape from New York?
I have.
Liked it?
Yeah.
Remake it?
No, I'm just kidding. It's super classic. But
is it better than Escape from LA?
I haven't seen that one.
That's the big one, right?
Why are you geographically prejudiced?
Racist.
You'll see Escape from New York, but not LA?
Oh, no, I totally would see both of them. I didn't. Sorry.
I don't think I've seen either of them because I didn't take them serious at the time.
Dude, you and your seriousness. You're the reasons why Batman has no jokes.
He has a Joker.
Oh man.
Goodness. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would have to see the first one to even have anything remotely sensible to say about the remake. So I guess I can't comment a lot about
I don't know about Charlie Hunnam as Snake Plissken, but you know.
He doesn't look much like Kurt Russell to me.
He was in Pacific Rim, right? He's the main
character. More like Thor.
Yeah, a little bit. They do. He's a little bit like the other guy. I don't even remember his name now.
Other guy, like the comedy.
Hemsworth. He's kind of like Hemsworth.
Isn't that what I just said?
Not like Will Ferrell. We're talking. Listen.
Speak.
I like when Nate talks on the podcast. It makes me happy.
Me too. I'm just gonna let him talk for a while.
Okay.
Go, Nate.
I really loved Pacific Rim, but he was definitely not the best part of Pacific Rim. So I don't know.
You gotta keep talking.
That's it.
Okay.
You know what the best part of
Let's
Pacific
talk about
Rim
Hateful
was?
Eight. Woo! What?
So you know what the best part of the Pacific Rim was? That dude with the suspenders and the pompadour and the
yeah, man,
mutton chops.
Dude,
that guy had a look, and I wish I could have that look.
Think about what he did in that movie. He could have been completely normal looking.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reason for him to look like that, and they did it anyway.
And it makes
that's why I like that movie so much.
Speaking of Charlie Hunnam, and going into the casting call section. Apparently, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, which we talked about months ago, has found its leading man, and it will be none other than Charlie Hunnam, taking the title role in Guy Ritchie's King Arthur film. Also, along with that, Idris Elba, some type of mentor to Charlie Hunnam's character.
Possibly Merlin.
Possibly Merlin. And then also Elizabeth Olsen, potentially being the main female lead, which you could only assume would be Guinevere.
Cool.
So some big names being attached to Guy Ritchie's King Arthur film, which will come to theaters in 2 years.
I think that guy looks more like King Arthur than Snake to me.
I can see that.
I'm not against any of those casting calls.
Me neither.
And if you're wondering, Elizabeth Olsen's not afraid to get naked on camera, so she could totally do Lancelot.
Yeah.
What? Oh, do Lancelot.
Yeah.
I got it.
Do you know what I just realized?
What?
We have no business talking about movies. Anyway, also in casting call, if you weren't excited about Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight yet, maybe the addition of Jennifer Lawrence could excite you.
Dude, who that listens to this podcast is not excited for the Hateful Eight? Put it in the comments.
Other names were already tied to it. I knew Samuel L. Jackson was tied to it just because it's Quentin Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson.
He's been in every movie since Pulp Fiction, I believe.
But now we have Michael Madsen's name attached to it, Jennifer Lawrence's name, and Kurt Russell's name attached to it.
I'm down.
I think this film so far has shown me nothing that makes me worry about it.
Nope. Most anticipated movie of 2015 for me right now.
Unless it moves to 2016, then it'll be the most anticipated film of 2016.
True that. But seriously, if you're like, no, I'm not that excited. So whatever, Quentin Tarantino, I don't like him. Just tell me in the comments, and I'll respond, and I'll be mad at you. So
we'll set you right. The little teaser trailer I thought was perfect.
I was like,
so good.
I need more.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I need out of a teaser. Something that really doesn't show me anything, but somehow still gets me excited about it.
Super cool.
Yeah, it definitely blew the crap out of that silver shoe for the Cinderella movie. I don't care about shoes. Give me something.
Like, is this one of those jewelry commercials right before the movie? What's going on here?
No one cares about Mince Moyer.
And also, the Jungle Book. Let's talk about the Jungle Book. Andy Serkis's Jungle Book, which I guess is being titled Jungle Book Origins. People being added to the vocal cast there. Benedict Cumberbatch, Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, Naomi Harris. That's a lot of big names being attached to that right away. Benedict Cumberbatch playing Shere Khan, Christian Bale playing the voice of Bagheera, Cate Blanchett, a female version of Ka. I don't know. I think that's interesting. I think it's almost more interesting, though, that the other one's getting just as big a names. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. The other one has, Idris Elba, Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Kingsley.
Wait, Benedict Cumberbatch is in both of them?
Wait, did I say for both of them?
I think so.
Okay, no. He is, I'm going to get them all confused now, and my mind's going to...
Oh, dude, it's so hard.
Okay, here we go.
Why don't they just make one big movie?
Okay, there's the Disney version, there's the Andy Serkis version, and there's the Disney version.
Yeah.
The Disney version, if I'm getting this right, is Idris Elba, Scarlett Johansson, Ben Kingsley, and Lupita Nyong'o and Christopher Walken. Whereas the Andy Serkis one is Benedict Cumberbatch, Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, etc. So, I mean...
They both sound good. And the thing is, one's Disney, that's good. One's Andy Serkis, that's great. Like, who,
It's going to be weird if they're... I don't, man.
What if there are two...
Disney version comes out first. That's going to be October of next year.
Okay.
Then Andy Serkis's will be exactly almost a year later in 2016.
Oh. See, I thought they were more closer together.
No,
but,
so there is a
but
year apart.
what is it? It'll be crazy if there are two really good Jungle Book movies like within a year of each other. That'd be insane. And they both do incredibly well. And then they have sequels made, and then it's like what the heck?
Too much Jungle Book.
Too much Jungle Book.
It's getting too hard to follow. It's getting off the rails.
Another casting call, Scoot McNairy. Does that name mean anything to anybody?
He's got a cool name.
Apparently, he'll be playing the Flash in Batman versus Superman. Is that finally the title they're going with on that one, or are we just still going to change the title about 16 times?
Wait, I thought Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, that
Dawn of Justice.
So yeah, apparently casting for the Flash, even though I am ignorant and don't know who Scoot McNairy is because he's probably from a television show that I don't watch.
It's probably something on the CWs. The C-dubs?
Not the CW's The Flash TV show, because they have one of those.
So wait, we're going to get like introductions of the Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, all in the same film?
Dude, it's going to be one scene. It'll be like that scene in Amazing Spider-Man where they're just walking by.
Will we even see the Flash, or will it just be like a wind blow?
Yeah, they'll have to credit the actor,
first appearance of Flash, you just didn't see him.
Right. That's great.
Also, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, making big news late this last week.
Yes!
Confirming that he will play Black Adam in DC's Shazam.
I feel like I've been wanting this since like 2005 or something. Like, oh man, finally.
And tweet from The Rock. If you're not following The Rock, it's at The Rock. Because that wasn't taken yet. Quote, kneel at his feet or get crushed by his boots. My honor to become hashtag Black Adam.
That's awesome. Like, he fits him, like, he fits him in look perfectly.
Like, yeah, dude. I am 100% there. We all agreed when they were like, hey, he's going to play somebody. We're like, Black Adam. It's gotta be.
And he also had the hashtag tweet in that same one, the anti-hero.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, because he, like, ripped people apart.
Well, that was like, it was totally in defense of his country, and he was sort of like the hero of his country.
Yeah.
Is he altogether bad in the comics, or is he kind of one of those... Oh,
he's super bad.
Okay.
Totally bad.
So it'll be interesting to see how exactly they adapt that to the screen and what direction they go with that. But after The Rock pulled off Hercules, I'm game for him doing anything.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they introduce him in with Superman and they have Superman fight him, they actually have someone that can go actually toe-to-toe with Superman, because Black Adam is a magical user. And Superman is weak versus magic, which a lot of people don't know. So that's cool.
It's true.
So if they need a reason to get rid of Superman so that it makes the story more interesting, they can use Black Adam.
More grimdark.
More grimdark.
So if the audience testing of Superman v Batman, Batman v Superman, if people don't like Superman, you're saying they got a way to write him out.
Well, they have a way to occupy his time so that the other more interesting characters can do things.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's what you meant by that. Not like as in kill the character off.
No. Although, I mean, you know, they're not going to have Doomsday in this, are they? Like, that would be retarded.
They're going to have every single character ever to make an appearance in it. Just kidding. Last casting call news. Margot Robbie. I don't know if you guys didn't see Wolf of Wall Street, correct?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. Well, if anyone has seen that, that's where they would recognize this individual from. And apparently she is tapped to star in a Ghost in the Shell DreamWorks remake.
Cool.
First of all, did anyone know that DreamWorks was doing a Ghost in the Shell remake?
No.
Did not know that they were going to make a live-action version of Ghost in the Shell.
And what do you think of that prospect just in general?
Well, I think we've got the technology now to do it. I don't think they're going to do it close enough to the original to even warrant it. because a major part of the original is that she wears clothing almost none of the time because she has the ability to make herself go invisible. I think by hacking everyone around her's brain, but she can't do clothes.
Ah.
So, like, I think actually in the opening sequence of the original movie, she jumps off of a rooftop and strips naked as she's falling so that she's invisible by the time she hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't see them doing that aspect to it, so I don't know quite, like, that's automatically changing a really major part of the movie. But I liked it, so maybe I'll go see it if they make it. I just don't trust them to do it right.
Fair enough. I don't trust DreamWorks to do most things right.
Except How to Train Your Dragon.
That's about it. They got that, and very few other things that I would bother watching of theirs currently. It's been a while since we've talked about trailers, so there's quite a few, so we're not going to hit every single one. Also, this is usually the notable time of the year where we get bombarded with horror films and Halloween style or type of movies. And I know Matt and I are not necessarily the largest fans of those types of films. So
if I were a fan, I might be the largest. 'Cause I'm fat.
Oh.
So obviously there's The Devil's Hand and Amityville, The Awakening, and quite a few. What is it? How do you say that? Ouija. There's a lot of that type of stuff coming out. Nate, I know you like that stuff a little bit more. You didn't see any of the trailers for that? You saw some of those live in person at a movie, didn't you?
I think so. I don't remember very well.
That's okay. We'll forget.
But whatever. Like, the thing is, I usually only ever watch scary movies if I hear that it's good. Like, I never like go blind to a scary movie because like so many scary movies come out, especially around this time of year, and they're all the same. And you're gonna get you a jump scare, and it's like whatever. But if something like actually comes out and it's like, whoa, this was actually terrifying, and this actually has a really good story, then that sounds cool.
Fair enough.
There was actually a couple of things you actually did leave in that were scary movies. The one about the doll that was like the Conjuring prequel. Do you remember that? Did you watch that one? I think it was called. Was it Cymbeline?
Oh no, I did not get a chance to see that one.
Cymbeline is based on Shakespeare or something.
Right. It was Annabelle. Annabelle is like that one makes me sad because it's okay, creepy doll. We've seen that all the time. Like every time we've seen creepy doll. I don't know. I always watch the good ones like in November because I've heard that they're
right.
So I don't know. I probably won't see a single horror movie in theaters this year, but
I can't even remember the last time I saw a horror film in theaters.
I know.
I think it was a movie called Straw Dogs. And that had to be 4 years ago, maybe. I'm just going to mention the two trailers that jumped out at me that seemed somewhat interesting to me, and then I'll let you guys talk about any that seemed interesting to you, because most of these I just didn't do it for me. White Bird in a Blizzard. I guess the sappy part of me wants to see where that goes. It's got a few people that I'm interested in as far as the cast goes. You got that cricket is getting super loud. It's got Ava Akers, Thomas Jane, Angela Bassett, Chris Maloney playing with Ava Green, even though they both just appeared in Sin City 2 together, and Shailene Woodley. So it's an interesting cast. I'm not sure what to make of the trailer, so I guess I'll hold judgment and give it a shot as more stuff comes out. And then the other one would be St. Vincent, which at the beginning of the year had a much longer name, and that would be the next film that we will be seeing from Bill Murray.
Yes.
And did you guys have a chance to see that trailer at all, Nate?
Yeah, totally, and I'm down for that one.
It didn't even feel like a trailer.
Yeah.
What did it feel like to you?
It felt like, hey, here's a minute from a movie real quick. And it's like, oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was originally like Saint Vincent of something. It had a longer title, but Bill Murray, Melissa McCarthy. I don't know. It's Terrence Howard, Chris O'Dowd, Naomi Watts. Anything with Bill Murray, I'll probably watch and give a shot. So I'm interested in that one. What about you guys? What trailers jumped out at you, Nate?
Nothing jumped out at my Nate. Nightcrawler definitely looks cool. I'm excited about that one. Jake Gyllenhaal being all creepy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right. So that one looks awesome.
Getting a lot of buzz too.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Men, Women, and Children with Adam Sandler in it, and Adam Sandler barely. I don't think he said a word in the trailer, but hey, it's Adam Sandler not doing a comedy where he goes on vacation, so that's a cool thing.
He ran out of freaking flyer miles.
Yeah. What else was there?
You said something about Horrible Bosses 2, correct?
Horrible Bosses 2 looks like a lot of fun, and I'm surprised I haven't seen more trailers using Turn Down for What? Because it's like a right, Matt. It's a perfect trailer because it's got the drops and it's got the silence and it's got the comeback. Like, it's perfect for trailers. It was designed for trailers, and I haven't seen that in too many trailers. But the actual movie looks pretty funny, and I love Charlie Day. And then Seventh Son still looks pretty good. Want to see that? Outcast. That's the one with Nicolas Cage and Anakin Skywalker.
Oh yeah.
And that looks silly as heck.
Oh,
like,
dude,
it looks,
I don't have high hopes, but I want to see it.
Oh, it looks like it's gonna be so bad.
It really does.
Oh,
I want to see it.
So yeah, that and I think that's about it for. Oh, Horns! I totally watch Horns.
Ugh.
Yeah, whatever. He's turned into a demon. It's cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
He's in the Halloween spirit. Matt, what did you think about all the different trailers you watched?
Yeah, dude. I want to see the Nick Cage Anakin Skywalker for two reasons. One, it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, no, I saved this Japanese prince. He's supposed to be emperor. I'm gonna go take him to Nick Cage. That'll be cool. Like, no one's gonna accept that guy when he returns. But and also Nick Cage is not gonna teach that one kid how to fight off an entire army so he can even get to the throne room. It's just like conceptually ridiculous. Two, I want to see if Hayden Christensen can act at all.
Yeah, what was the last movie he was in?
Part of me thinks it might be him, and part of me thinks it might have been just bad direction. It's really hard to tell with those prequel movies.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to see it just to see if he can act. Who was
the actor that we decided could have easily played that role almost identically to
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Way better. We can see him acting. Also, what Automata? It looks like closer to the iRobot book written by Isaac Asimov than the iRobot movie, which had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I can't believe how they fucking botched that 100%. 100%.
I would be a lot more interested in that film if it didn't contain the casting of Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's too sexy.
Yeah, I guess.
He's too sexy.
It's too sexy.
You asked what Hayden Christensen has done lately. It's been nothing. He hasn't done a film since 2010.
All right, cool.
The last one that was probably at least watched by a few people, or at least the last one I remember would be Jumper back in 2008, which was a long ass time ago. He was in that. Yeah, and he was also in Takers in 2010. But yeah, he hasn't done much since 2005 when he left the set of Revenge of the Sith.
Right. Yeah, I can see why though. That movie.
No, that movie is not bad.
Well, the second one is the worst. I think we all can agree.
I don't know, man. Like, they're all watchable. They're not nearly as bad as everyone made them out to be. It was a lot of hype problems. That said, I don't know which one is the best of them. I like the third one. I kind of like the first one. Like,
I
Jar
like
Jar
the first
Binks
and
is,
second
like,
one for different reasons,
yeah.
but I like the third one better than both of them. But that, I guess, is a whole debate for another day. Any other ones that jumped out at you, Matt?
Nope.
All right. Well, then we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk about the main attraction.
And I'm going to try to kill this cricket.
Just another Saturday night.
Power is a fragile thing.
It's tearing me up how much I love you
Dwight, is that you?
and what I gotta do.
She owns me.
She was an angel.
When she wishes it, we die. One of these days, she'll pull the trigger. It's a good game.
You keep asking for it and asking for it.
That there's a dame to kill for.
Sin City's where you go in with your eyes open. Or you don't come out at all.
All right, thanks for sticking with us. It is time for the main attraction. I know it may seem a little bit late to the party on this, but we're going to do some discussion in a few minutes on both Sin City 1 and Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For. That's the right title, right?
Yep.
Dame to kill.
Yes.
4.
But before that, any other films that we have seen in the last few weeks since our last record? I know we watched a pair of films this past Friday. I'm trying to think of what we watched the Friday before that. Or was that Sin City 1 that we watched 2 weeks ago?
Might have just been Sin City.
Okay, and then last Friday we watched 2 films.
Oh, we watched Eagle versus Shark.
Oh, that's right. We also
was
watched
the other
Eagle
one.
vs. Shark.
Oh, you guys were
What?
watching that when I got home.
I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about that.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I do.
Go for it.
So, Nate and I watched Eagle vs. Shark. It stars Jermaine Clement and some woman from New Zealand. I think that is the only thing she's ever done. I don't know. Ultimately, it's essentially if you were to turn Napoleon Dynamite into a rom-com, it's about this...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I didn't kill it.
It's about it's about this really awkward guy, a la Napoleon Dynamite, and this girl who falls in love with him. And while watching it, it was one of the most awkward movie experiences I've had in a long time, because you almost just can't feel for the guy, and you just feel sad for the girl who's in love with him, and like that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
It seemed rather depressing.
I've been thinking about it, especially today in particular. We're at work. I had a conversation with a guy about Forrest Gump, and he said Forrest Gump is a movie about a guy who gets shit on all of his life, and loves a woman who hates him, or just treats him like shit, and then at the end she gets AIDS. And I was like, that's a pretty cynical look at that movie. And then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? No, that guy, he had ups and downs. It wasn't just his life shitty. Like, he was a millionaire at one point. He was huge. And I think, like, that's kind of how I thought about Eagle versus Shark at first, where it's like, man, this woman has a terrible life, and she likes this guy that doesn't really appreciate her. And it's just like, but the more I think back on it, the more I like that movie.
Yeah?
I like the movie. I just have an issue with the ending, which I won't spoil, but...
Yeah, no, I like when I first got over at the end of it, I was like right there with Nate, and now I don't know if they needed like. I think if they changed the ending, I'd feel better leaving the theaters or ending the Netflix. But like, I don't know if it'd have made it a better movie. I think it had made me feel better.
Yeah. No, I think it would make it a better movie, honestly, but you know, like so few of our listener base has watched this movie, so it's kind of pointless to talk about the ending without actually spoiling it.
Yep. But it'll be pretty obvious if you watch it, and it's on Netflix. So
Yeah, watch it.
if you don't mind being awkward for a little bit, go.
You might feel like you wasted an hour and a half, but we're sorry. I don't know.
I'm not sorry.
Okay.
And then this past Friday, what was I know the second film we watched was The Town, but what was the first film we watched?
The Man with the Iron Fists.
Oh yeah, The Man with the Iron Fists.
We watched that one.
Yeah,
we did do that.
I think they mean Rubber Fists.
That film was all kinds of things, and some of the things it shouldn't have been. Like, it felt like it could have been a different film with some minor variations done by Matthew Fridley, and it would have turned it into a better film. I don't know. There was so many factions. We had like the wolves and the hyenas and the tigers and the lions,
the rats
and the rabbits, and the crickets. I mean, we
and
had
the
like,
Gemini twins.
Yeah, the Gemini twins were the best thing about that movie.
They were cool.
That movie is worth it just for that scene, and then shut it off.
No. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the climax of the movie for me.
Halfway into the movie,
Gemini twins kicking some ass, taking some names, and then it all kind of went downhill once whatchamacallit got his iron fists.
Yeah.
It went down a little bit before then, but yeah, definitely.
I mean, I did not want him to be the star of that film. And that
he has no charisma on screen.
That had nothing to do with him being the only African American in the film.
Yeah,
he was not in that. He was like a shadow character that showed up for about a minute every 10 scenes,
which
was
the
first hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was the titular character that had to be the winner at the end.
That's the problem. He was like just this like little shadowy scene guy that was kind of progressing certain plot elements or interacting with our main characters, and they were setting up all these other characters that were so much cooler, and they were like building them up so that we got a climax that didn't include two of them. Like, I felt cheated.
Like there was like,
oh, Batista was in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the one thing this film did was launch Batista's movie career. Which I love to be able to say because he's been in 3 movies now, 1 a year since 2013.
He does things.
No, I guess
he was banking on the Guardians, and now he doesn't have to do anything ever again.
Yeah, dude, he could just not do movies. And...
well, he could do Guardians 2 and then be like, yeah, that's it.
Yep,
they paid me enough. I'm done.
What was the best and worst thing about this film?
Probably Russell Crowe.
Oh, I forgot about Russell Crowe.
As the best thing?
Another character that this film could have centered on instead of Guy with Iron
Any
Fist.
of them.
But we had Batista, we had Russell Crowe, we had all of the actual martial artist guys.
It wanted so hard.
Lucy Liu.
It really wanted to be a Quentin Tarantino movie, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, also the dialogue was all over the place.
Yeah, that was so really bad dialogue.
It was like epic dialogue followed by gangster dialogue.
Yeah.
Rapping along the way.
I don't know.
I mean, the film had some great scenes. It had some great sequences. Had some good ideas along the way.
And it was just like filled in between those cool scenes with nothing.
Yeah, it just wasn't executed well.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of that type of film, you should probably check it out.
Really? I don't even know if I'd go that far. As a big fan of kung fu movies, I would not suggest this movie to anyone.
But if you're a big fan of kung fu movies, should you at least have knowledge of this film?
You should listen to this podcast and be
should
like,
you at least see the Gemini twins?
Yeah, you could look those up on YouTube if you want.
Yeah, look up the scene with the Gemini twins. Watch that 5 or 10 minutes, and that's the best you get there. Judge it on that. And then you'll unfairly think it's a good film. All right, then did any of you guys see anything else before we get into Sin City discussion? I've seen one other film.
We didn't talk about The Town at all.
Oh yeah, The Town, the second film we saw then. Matt's been on a quest as of recent history of watching heist films. Getting suggestions from people about which heist films to see. I know you watched Heat. You watched,
Usual Suspects.
yeah, and what was the one that it took me forever to watch?
Wait, it took you forever.
Oh, The Art of the Steal.
Art of the Steal.
Uh-huh.
You watched some older school ones too, right, or not?
Yeah, the original Ocean's 11 with the Rat Pack.
Nice.
I've watched probably 10 or 15 this year alone.
Heat?
Yeah, we mentioned Heat already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm spacing
Knowing
out.
that,
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, just a bunch.
and just knowing that, and having the town sitting on our stack of films to watch, I wanted Matt to see that, to kind of see where he would place that amongst the group. Obviously, not necessarily your most lighthearted, turn your brain off and just have some fun type of film. I mean, it's pretty serious, I guess.
Very serious.
Very serious. Matt, what did you think? It's having seen all these heist films and then watching this one. What were your impressions?
Well, it clearly draws on a lot of the ones that came before it, especially Heat. But I think in many ways it improves upon the idea. Like, I really enjoyed The Town. Like, it did a lot of things that I really like.
It avoided some things too that I don't like.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I just like some of the unneeded little plot points that a lot of people throw in there. There wasn't necessarily like, yeah, there is, love story or a love interest, so to speak, but they didn't like go so far that it became more of a part of the movie than it needed to be.
Yeah, it was totally like the love interest was part of the whole heist thing. It was like, this is a necessary element to one of our heists.
It made it feel a little more natural in the way they handled it, maybe.
Yeah, totally.
So I like that it didn't go to some of those aspects, and it didn't. I don't know. Occasionally, there's some of those films where you're just like, "Come on, they couldn't possibly survive that," or that's unbelievable that guy killed that many people or got out of that situation, so to speak. And in this one, I felt like it somewhat kept a tone of believability in the fact that not everyone's getting out of every situation.
Yeah, it really took that sort of, at least in my opinion, from Heat.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, go so far as to say, there's a scene towards like the last third of Heat, towards the beginning of the last third, and towards the end of The Town. Like, actually, I'd probably say the last third of both of those movies are very similar.
I can see connections for sure.
You
also had some great shots of the different masks that they wore towards the first half of the film. It's not a spoiler. This film's been out for a while, but the scene where they got the nun's mask on and they're looking at the little kid on the side of the street, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's that choice for the nuns is like so iconic. Like, if you see a nun costume like that, you're like you'll think of The Town.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if it'll be like as iconic as other movies, but it's a good choice to have those masks.
I agree. Matt, you said that possibly improved on some of the elements of Heat. As you look back on all the different heist films you've seen, how does it stack up? Like, where does it stack up amongst them all?
I would put it probably in my top 5, definitely above Heat. Like, I don't know. That's what I love about heist movies, is they can be done so differently, like to the point where it's like really hard to compare. Because it's hard to compare, say, The Usual Suspects to The Art of the Steal to Reservoir Dogs. It's like one of those ultra serious, one of those incredibly campy, like.
Yeah.
But all of them, have these elements that are very clear and easy to follow. And they, even when they turn it up a little bit or turn it to a side, it's still the same concepts. But I would
seen
definitely
Bandits?
Seen what?
Have you seen the movie Bandits?
I don't think so.
Bandits is a film that you'll either love or you'll hate. But it's Bruce Willis and Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay.
Play a pair of bank robbers.
Cool.
But I'm sorry, that just randomly popped into my head. But continue your thoughts. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I would love to see this movie. Those are both good actors.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I would recommend it. In fact, I went to a guy at work who had suggested Heat. Heat was the number one suggested movie by a lot. I went to one of the guys that had suggested Heat, and he and I had talked about it after we watched it. And I was like, "Have you seen The Town?" He's like, "Yeah, I love The Town. We talked about it." And I was like, "Yeah, it's better." So yeah, I would definitely thumbs up recommend this more than I think every other movie we watched.
Fair enough.
Out of theaters.
Nate, what about you? How did you like it at the same level, or what did you think? I know it was kind of super serious, super intense.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad we got
It
that.
was really intense. My girlfriend Amy had to leave the room probably within 10 minutes of the movie because she did not need that. Like it was stressing her out or whatever. So
I will say it is not a perfect film.
No,
not that exists, and I don't think it needs to be. I will point out that there is a specific scene that I still don't know why it was necessary to have in the film. I guess they were trying to show another level of the temper and the violent streak in one of the characters.
I really don't. I was so confused by the end of that movie why that scene was even in there.
But there is at least one scene, if you really kind of look back and try to like dissect the film, that doesn't necessarily, like if you were looking at deleted scenes and that was one of them, you'd be like, oh, I understand why that was deleted, because it really has nothing to do with the film.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning to keep that scene in the film and what they thought it added to the film. But it's a film where there's enough going on where you just kind of like bypass the scene, I guess, and you don't really. I mean, you're in the back of your head, you might be asking yourself what the point of that was, but it doesn't necessarily take away from what's going on. It just adds something we already knew about the character, I guess.
Yeah.
Nate, any other thoughts about The Town?
No, you guys covered it super thoroughly.
That's what we try to do here at Weekend at the Movies.
Yeah.
Nate, did you see any other film in the past?
I saw a bunch.
Yeah, all right, go for it. You see more films than all of us.
Yeah.
Which is weird for me to say.
I do that sometimes. I saw The Fast and the Furious, the first one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. This movie is insane because it's about cars. It's literally about like the main character was not Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. The main characters were the cars.
That's good because cars can't die.
Wow. That was a real life death, not an in movie death.
Too soon. Before you continue, we're going to elicit one of our first direct comments to our podcast from TFG1 Mike on this one because he is in love with the Fast and the Furious franchise. So please belittle it.
Well, okay. So I don't know anything about cars at all. Like I hate cars. They're like annoying things that break down and then they ruin your day.
I knew
that's what a car is to me. It gets you places, but it'll probably break down and you'll be mad at it
You're
eventually.
my favorite person in the world right now.
So then like they have all these hilarious shots and they're hilarious only probably to me because they're like, whoa, look at this car. And you're like, that's a car. And okay. And it's just like, what? Okay, fine. There's cars. We get it. Move on.
You have
and like
no
all the
business
characters,
talking about car movies.
The people in the movie were so stupid and like reprehensible. A guy called another guy the F word, like FA word, not the FU word, but he called him that like the way that Eminem would say it, and it was just like, oh come on, no one talks like that, really, but people do apparently.
I'm still trying to figure out what the FU word and the FA word are.
Well, think about it. I didn't want to say that word.
You can bleep me if you want. It's a word. I'm not going to censor the English language. Fuck
all right,
you.
Fine.
And that's the FU word. All right, I'm with you.
All right, we got it. So So like, it was so bad.
So are you
And,
going to watch the rest of the series?
I hear it gets really good by like the 8th or 9th one. I don't know
That
which
is
one
what
they're
people
on.
say that just are trying to find a way to defend their love for something that is absolutely nonsensical.
Like
Oh, dude.
I hear
I'm just
it
kidding.
goes. I hear it goes off the rails into like this like super spy supercar
And then it
chase.
has a terrible movie, apparently, that Tokyo Drift gets ripped on.
That was
Right.
number 3 though. So.
So yeah,
And then it comes back, and it's all right.
But like
Yeah.
number 5, like they tear a bank vault out with Dodge Chargers.
yeah.
Those
What?
things can't even pull a trailer, let alone a like 10-ton bank vault. But fuck yeah, man.
Dude, like the thing
And then at
is,
some point, it doesn't not become a car about cars? Isn't it like helicopters and planes and shit?
yeah, well, it's
Hey,
they're
the movie
doing the
isn't
whole
called
Pixar
The Car and the
thing.
Carius. Helicopters can be faster than cars, so that's more fast. And airplanes are furious.
Yeah,
Certain
but
types.
seriously though, like it was so bad. And the thing is, like, I should care a little bit more about cars now that my job is 90% car ads. I make car ads all day.
No, that's going to make you care about cars less.
Oh, seriously, like I
that's
can't
possible.
stand cars.
I'm with you 100%. But Matt, defend the movie so people don't hate us forever.
Have you seen this?
I saw it when it was new.
All right, fine.
Like not
How was it back in
I did see it.
2001?
No, I saw it when it was new, and I think I have subconsciously blocked it from my memory because I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
Yeah, I have a shitty memory, so being like I saw that movie 15 years ago means almost nothing.
Right.
But I can say that as a 15 years ago, right, roughly when it came out, I would have been like 12. So like I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. It was weird to me to be like, we're gonna give this cop this really expensive car, we're gonna trick it out, and we're not gonna train him how to drive it at all, and then like he'll fucking bust the shit out of some street racing. Like
Yeah, I just miss the attraction, I guess, that all the different elements. Like this film attracts the people that aren't me, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
even know how to say it. Like all the different aspects of this film, like none of them appeal to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I do want to see the crazier ones that are apparently come later. But whatever. I watched it just as
Do me a
joke
favor, Nate. Go
almost.
ahead and watch all those, and then report back to me on if I should ever waste any time on
All right.
those.
All right, I'll catch you up. So like it'll be like watching, like you'll start at like the second season of Lost.
Yeah,
instead
like
of,
every week, give us a new update on the Fast and the Furious franchise. I'm sure you'll be able to do that for the rest of the year. They're making it that fast until
we'll let him have Need for Speed as well.
yeah, you can do all do the whole genre. Just fill us in
Oh.
on the. Matt has the heist genre. You have the street racing.
I don't want this street racing genre.
It's like he drew the wrong.
You
line.
are the envy of all of the people here at Weekend at the Movies. All three of us. What other films have you seen?
I finally saw the Terminator 2.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah!
almost unforgivable.
I know, I'm sorry,
You
but
use the
you know.
phrase "I finally
Hey,
saw."
okay, yeah. Well, when I grew up, my mom wouldn't probably let me watch that movie because it's bad. Because there's I don't know,
Here's
it
the
looks
problem,
scary.
though. The problem is that it took you until the ripe old age of 20-something.
I was very busy in college.
No. But because it took you so long to watch it, I feel like you're never going to have the appreciation that all of us have for that film, seeing it when things were much different in the world.
Dude, I super appreciate that movie.
Okay.
That movie was incredibly entertaining.
Okay.
There's
forgiven.
nothing wrong with that movie.
There's nothing wrong. Now let's not get carried away. What was your, like, I know you said it was good and whatnot, but like, what was your honest opinion after you saw it? Like, give me some details. What'd you think? Why'd you think it? What was good? What was bad?
The action was a lot of fun. The acting was great, except for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, what do you want? He's a robot. He doesn't need to act.
They found the way around it.
Right. I really liked the choice of having the bad guy be the cop and the good guy be the guy that you thought was the bad guy in the first one. Like, I understand that, like, we know the Terminator as the, like, if I'm not mistaken, his Judgment Day more like people like Judgment Day better than the first one.
It's the best of all four.
Right. So like you know that he's a good guy in that one, but like when I understand like when you first saw the movie, you didn't know, and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna kill him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out he's a good guy, and then the cop turns out to be the bad guy, and that's super cool.
Super
Of
cool.
course, it's super cool. Like I think it was well written, great action, super entertaining. There's not too much wrong with that movie. It's I mean, other than like the effects of the goo was kind of, you know, it's 90s CG, so
That
whatever.
was fine at the time.
Yeah. Got no problem with it.
What other films did you see, sir?
I saw The Night at the Museum 2.
2 or 3?
You know, 2.
Okay.
Battle 3 is out? Is 3 out?
3 is this year, I think.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
It has Robin Williams.
I don't know. I watched it while
Unlike
I
the
was
other
doing
two.
other things. What's that?
I was making a joke at what Kevin said.
They're not terrible movies at all.
No.
Oh,
Like
that's
I
fun.
don't. Yeah, they're pretty fun. And Amy Adams plays Amelia Earhart in that movie, and she's super cool. She does that well.
She's all right.
She's fun to watch usually. So yeah, I don't know. It's good. Like kids movies, some are really bad, but some are decent, and then some are amazing. And this one was decent.
All right.
I don't know. I don't got much to say on that one. I watched it while I was cleaning.
Man, that cricket
So-
came back from the dead. with
Yeah,
a
I forgot to
vengeance.
tell everybody that this was the first ever weekend at the movies that we were actually doing outside around a campfire. And we're making history here on the
Yeah.
Geekcast Radio.
Need to
No.
do that more often.
Yeah, trying to keep away the mosquitoes, but luckily we have this cricket to help us out. Did you see any other films, Nate?
Yep.
Keep going, sir.
And it'll never end. I saw The Adventures of Tintin again. I watched that again.
Did you watch that with
And-
Kevin?
No,
No, I just watched it by myself.
I was not invited to that.
Was that in the stack for you, or was that in the stack for him to watch?
That's in the stack for Kevin to watch.
Oh, okay.
But he just has watched it multiple times since he put it in the stack.
Nice.
Yeah. I like it. It's a good. It stays incredibly true to the original storyline of the comic.
Oh, you read the
And-
comic?
No, but I just know the story. No, I mean I'm not trying to say that like I've read all the. I'm just saying I know that it is true to the storyline. So if you care about that, Matt, which I know you do,
That's the thing I care about.
He's just looking out for you,
Uh,
man. He did some research for you.
yeah.
Way to go, Nate.
What a guy.
And it's like half written by Stephen Moffat, so that's cool.
He's a good guy.
He's a good writer.
Good guys everywhere.
So I don't know. I liked it a lot. The CG in it is like Polar Express levels of weird sometimes. But you know, it's not too distracting. It's not as distracting as the Polar Express.
Not as distracting as a cricket.
Oh, God. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to kill it again.
Oh no, dude, you're the only one who needs to talk right now.
All right.
Murder.
Anyway.
On air. This week. Weekend at the movies.
Okay. So anyway, no, Tintin, super fun, super like really adventurous. It's a movie where there's like pirates and you
Now
know,
we know why Nate likes it.
ooh, it's fun. I don't know. It's like he's a reporter and he's trying to solve a mystery and it's just super fun.
Yeah,
Watch
no,
that movie.
that one scene where they're like flowing through that town and there's like a tank involved.
Yep.
Oh, great scene.
Yep.
I saw it in theaters. I'm totally down with Nate.
Yeah.
I'm down with. Oh, never mind. Nate, what's next on the list?
Hot Fuzz.
Fuzz.
It's the second in the, what do they call it? Oh, geez, I don't remember. But it's the Simon Pegg movies. There's 3 of them, and in each one they eat an ice cream cone, and it's called the Ice Cream Cone Trilogy. But it's not called the Ice Cream Cone Trilogy. But no, it's the cop one where he's like the best cop in the world, and he goes to this really shitty town. And it is so well made. It's not the funniest comedy I've ever seen, but it's one of the best movies ever. I don't know.
What is the funniest comedy you've ever seen?
That I've laughed the most at?
You just
I
said it's
don't
not the
know.
funniest comedy you've ever seen, which implies...
Okay. I think, and comedies are weird because at the time, like, I'll laugh at a movie and be like, dude, this was really funny. And then other people will watch it and they'll be like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, well, it was funny when I watched it that one time, but I understand why it's not that funny right now.
You're just stalling.
I am. Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Probably the funniest damn movie I ever saw in theaters. I literally, there was probably a time, have you seen this movie, Matt or Kevin?
No.
Okay,
yeah, when I was like 14.
Okay, shut up, Matt. I don't care what you want to say. Because you're probably going to be like, it's not that funny. I watched this movie in theaters, and about 20 minutes in, maybe, I started laughing, and I couldn't stop. I literally, like, couldn't stop until the end of the movie. Like,
I don't get it, but I like you.
I'd like to witness that.
what?
I'd like to be there to see that.
No, it was ridiculous. I was with my friend from high school, and we went, and I think it was just about the moment. Like, we were in the moment, and we were laughing at this stupid movie, and we fully understood that it was stupid, but we understood that it was amazing at the same time. And there was like 2 other people in the audience, and they probably were really mad at us because we would not stop laughing. That's probably the most I ever laughed at a movie. No, it was actually Andy.
Oh.
I don't know if you know Andy.
Andy Brown?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, fine. Now they can look us up because Andy Brown is the most generic name ever.
It really is.
What's next on the hit list?
That's it, man.
Right.
That's the one. But no, Hot Fuzz. Go watch that movie. Kevin, you need to see Hot Fuzz. It was in the stack. I took it out just to watch it. But
I need to see all those because I haven't seen any of them.
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Simon Pegg film from beginning to end.
No. You've never seen Shaun of the Dead? No, wait, because we watched The World's End.
No, we didn't.
You
Yeah, we
watched
did.
this by yourself and think that everyone was there for it? None of us were
Are you
there.
serious?
We watched This Is the End. We did not.
We didn't watch
World's End.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh.
I probably saw more films than this, but I sure as heck can't remember them. But I remember one specifically that I watched, and you guys have to forgive me for watching it without you, but I could wait no longer. And as soon as I watched it, I was needing you guys to watch it as well. So I saw Snowpiercer.
Damn it! I was gonna say,
it.
don't say Snowpiercer. And
But
then you did.
I will watch it again, and you guys have to watch it now because I really want your opinion on this film. For you guys out there that don't know what Snowpiercer is, that's I think technically it was released somewhere, like maybe at a festival in 2013, but I think it's widely considered a 2014 film. And it stars Chris Evans and the guy that played the priest in Count of Monte Cristo.
Ooh.
Which most people refer to him as the original Dumbledore?
Wait, no, the original Dumbledore died.
Dead.
Okay, the second Dumbledore, or did he played something in Harry Potter, did he not? I don't know, but he's the priest from Count of Monte Cristo. Chris Evans, and a variety of other people, but it's basically a futuristic setting in which a chemical has been released that has basically frozen the world, and the only living inhabitants of Earth are on this very high-tech, super designed train, and you can't basically survive outside of this train. And the train is basically built in a class system, so to speak, whereas the most important people are near the front of the train and have a much easier life than the, I guess, lower class people at the tail of the train. And it has a lot to do with social order, etc. I really enjoyed this film. It's somewhat brutal at times. There are a couple scenes here and there where it's hard to watch for someone like me because I don't like to see too much blood and guts and that type of stuff. Not that you see a ton of it, but there are a few moments where I was like, I don't really want to see what happens right here. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And to me, and I'm gonna kind of, I guess, segue into what we'll talk about maybe in a little bit later with the credit conversation. But there was definitely a message being put out in this film, but I felt like it wasn't as strong-handed as we get in some films. And to me, this is the more appealing way to send across a message covered in a film rather than what we got with Under the Skin. Um, it's really weird to try to compare these two movies because they're really nothing alike. But I'm saying, like, in the fact that they're both making social commentary, they're both trying to give us questions and pose questions to us that we can debate and that we can think about ourselves. But the difference is this one's doing it in an entertaining fashion. And I'm sure some people could probably rip this apart. Some people could probably nitpick it away and question a lot of the science and the physics and the reality to make this a. You have to suspend some of your hold on how things happen and what's realistic and what's not realistic, I guess, maybe to enjoy this film. But if you can do that, I think you'll find it very entertaining and just as deep and just as complex as a film like Under the Skin, but at the same time something that doesn't bore you ever. So I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing it and getting your opinions on it, which may very much differ than what my opinions of it were. I think I like this film even more than Movie Revolt Dan did. He did say some good things about it, but I'm not thinking he liked it quite as much as I did.
He definitely didn't like it as much as he liked Under the Skin.
That's true. That is very true. And we'll get to more Under the Skin talk in a little bit.
What? Why?
Because that's what this podcast is. Because we had some comments, Nate. Remember the comments?
Gotta address the comments
yeah.
here in a little bit.
All right. Fine.
But first,
if we don't address the comments, it just looks like we got yelled at and then didn't do the podcast for a month.
that's not how it went down.
That's not how it went down, guys.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot about that.
But before we get to that, we got to talk about Sin City today.
Wait.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I watched a movie.
Oh, yeah. We talked about the other films that we talked about on Fridays, and you didn't pipe up, man. I was not ready.
You asked Nate specifically.
My bad. I try to get Nate to talk, because otherwise he doesn't talk. So you and I talk.
We talk. Although Nate talks pretty heavily. It was great.
I like
So I watched Char's Counterattack. For those of you not in the know, it's anime movie set in the Gundam UC universe. I specifically watched this because my friends and I, as a release celebration for Gundam Unicorn, the newest UC Gundam series, we watched every Gundam anime in the UC from chronologically from beginning to end.
That had to take a while.
Yeah, we planned about 6 months in advance, and actually, moving target, we were going to start Unicorn right as episode 7 came out. We ended up being about 4 weeks off because of people being sick or whatever. Yeah, it took a long time, but it's great. I love the Gundam UC stuff. The non-universe stuff is a little more ridiculous, especially if you get into like G Gundam, where a guy can like pick up a building and throw it at a Gundam, and it's like, why is that 6 foot tall dude picking up the Empire State Building and throwing it at a giant robot? But the Universal
because it's
Century,
anime.
The Universal Century stuff, Unicorn aside, is very closer to reality. So we watched Char's Counterattack, and then also Unicorn, which I watched over the course of 3 days in the last week and the week before. Not technically a movie, but they did release them individually. It's way more expensive than a movie because they released them individually per episode, 1 hour episode, $60 a piece on Blu-ray. So it's like watching a bunch of really, really, really expensive movies. But the Char's Counterattack, final story of Char Aznable, really, I can't suggest it unless you've seen the other UC stuff for both that and Unicorn. And if you have seen the other UC stuff, don't avoid it, especially Char's Counterattack, because it's really good. So that's what I have to say.
What about Cop Out?
Cop Out. Oh,
we did watch Cop Out. Jeez, Nate, coming in with the late edition. I like it. Cop Out, starring Bruce Willis and
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
Directed by Kevin Smith.
That movie should have been better.
It wasn't as bad. I liked it more than everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm way more forgiving.
I kind of go back to what we said when we were watching it and when we got done watching it. The problem with Cop Out is it came out the same year as the other guys, and to me, the other guy is far superior.
It's kind of funny. If you want to see what Kevin Smith does with someone else's movie, go and see it. Or if you feel bad that you haven't seen anything Tracy Morgan in a while because of his car crash, go see it.
Oh man, I'm being so insensitive to a lot of stars out there.
Dude,
I was gonna make a Fast and Furious joke right after that.
Comedy is all about timing, and you botched that one.
I did. I thought I'd get too much hate for it. All right, getting into the main attraction of the day, Sin City. We watched Sin City 1 on a Friday, then we watched Sin City 2 on Sunday. So we watched them 2 days apart, a week or so ago. You guys are both fans of the first Sin City, right? And that was your second time or third time watching that one?
At least.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my first time watching Sin City 1. I don't know how I missed it, how I never had time for it. But it's a very unique film. It's very stylistic. They do so much with colors, and lighting and shadows and stuff like that. And it's just something that's very unique as far as films that we've been getting over the last 10 to 15 years. When did the first one come out?
01 or 02.
Yeah, so about the last 15 years. Something that I appreciated. It was very unique. It's something I hadn't seen. I liked the action. I liked the characters. Talk about a
Wait, what'd you say, Matt?
Like
2001?
02?
So 2005.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But talk about a lesson in character development that some other people could maybe take a note or two from, in a completely different way. Not maybe a typical way to develop characters, but a way that's so effective that, I mean, this film is about the characters. It's not about, I mean, this is kind of makes it sound bad, but it's not necessarily about the story, or like a specific plot as much as it is about the characters that are involved in that story. And I really enjoyed the first one on the first viewing. Granted, after viewing the second one, I had a lot of questions. As far as, even though it had only been 2 days ago, of what I had just seen in the first one and trying to make sense of everything, but I really enjoyed the first one, and you guys were both excited to go into the second one, if I remember correctly.
Very excited.
Yeah.
What were you guys' opinions right away at the end of Sin City 2? What did you feel like, Matt?
Well, my initial thought when I walked out of the thing was like, I don't know if that was better than the first one.
My thought, and maybe I went into this in the wrong way, because I'm hearing the same type of critique or response from just about everybody I'm hearing anything about. I listened to a little of the In-Session film guys on their review of Sin City 2, and I've read a few things here and there on the internet, and it seems like everybody wanted, and it kind of draws parallels to maybe 300 a bit, in the fact that we just had a sequel for 300, and it got the same type of response. I feel like a lot of people wanted the sequel here to be, we're more concerned about it being better and an improvement on the first one. And I viewed it more with Sin City, more than 300 even, that it was more so exactly what I was expecting and wanting as a continuation of the first one. Like, I felt like a lot of people wanted it to be something new and better, or them to do different things, and they got criticized because Sin City 1 was kind of, I don't know if groundbreaking is the right term, but it did a lot of things that hadn't been done from a film standpoint, from a visual standpoint.
Visuals.
Yeah, and then they were hoping that like Sin City 2 would like reinvent the wheel again and give us a whole bunch of different unique stuff. And like, I feel like that's not what I wanted from that. I didn't want it to do a whole bunch of more new stuff and wow me in the way that Sin City 1 did. I wanted it to be a continuation of that story. I wanted it to be another chapter to something that was already established that I enjoyed.
I don't know. I think you there's some merit in that, but at the same time, you don't want them to just keep doing the same thing over and over again,
Yeah,
like a lot of movies are doing nowadays.
right.
I guess, and this is something I actually told a guy at work when he asked me if he should go see it. I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like if I hadn't seen the first one, the second Sin City movie would be amazing. But having seen the first one, it's like, it's not a good one. Like, it's totally worth seeing. I don't know why it's not doing very well, but like,
But isn't it a valid statement to say though, if you enjoyed Sin City, the first one, for what it was, that you should technically, it seems like you should enjoy the second one.
oh, totally. Like, I don't know. I'm
Like it
not
feels
gonna.
like it could have been made back to back. It feels like it could have been like what the first one could have been made, and then like 3 months later they made the second one.
Oh, totally. Like, it does not feel like it's been a decade. That's
Right,
for
and
sure.
that's what I think that's what I was most impressed of, is I thought there was going to be something in there that kind of disconnected it for me, and I was afraid of that,
That did not happen.
and it did not happen. So that's what I get. Maybe I was just too pleased at that to be too concerned about the rest of it. But I am definitely in the minority there, and that's why I'm upset that it's not doing a little bit better too. Not that it's not
Yeah.
going against some stiff competition, but continue your thought, Matt.
I think I was mostly done. I like it. Like, I think it's good. Like, it's not groundbreaking, but it is just more good.
Yeah,
Like, and you can't expect movies to all be brand new because that's not happening anywhere. So
right. Nate, what was your initial reaction?
I'm pretty much the same as you guys. Like, I thought it was I left the theater thinking that was pretty good. I don't know if it was better than the first. I remember thinking during the Game to Kill for storyline that was dragging on a bit too long. And I didn't. And I remember having that thought, and I was like, oh, I better make a note of that, because it was going on a little bit. It felt like that was getting stale after a while, and then, but there were a lot stronger stories, so it helped with it not getting boring.
As much as I like Ava Green, and as much as it's nice to see her nude in a majority of her scenes in this film,
Yeah.
I will get on board with that critique that a lot of people have had, where they felt like that was somewhat of the main storyline in this film, and it was perhaps the least entertaining or captivating storyline amongst all the other ones that were going on. Do you guys agree that you enjoyed the look at the other characters and the other storylines more than her storyline?
I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt's story was probably the most interesting.
that one was really good.
Yeah, I'm
I
with you on
think
that one.
I think I agree that hers was the weakest of all of them, but at the same time, I feel like it was the most fleshed out in that it could have been a whole movie on its own.
Right.
Not that we need another movie like that, because that's like a classic film trope, right? So yeah, I don't think it was as strong as the other ones, but I wouldn't say it was so bad it needed to be removed.
What did you guys feel, and this is, I guess, spoiler alert in a way, but what did you guys feel about the storyline revolving around Bruce Willis and Jessica Alba's character from the first one and into this one?
I was very worried in the trailers, and they made it work in a way that made sense. I'm a little confused as to what's going on, though, with that.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen it or whatever, or maybe wondering why people have seen, or why I've said I had a bunch of questions as to how stuff worked, because it definitely seems like certain storylines that you see in the second film, are a prequel to the first one, and it seems like other storylines are somewhat of a sequel to the first one. Yet some of those same storylines intertwine with each other.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some timeline
It's a bit wibbly wobbly.
complexities or
Timey-wimey.
Yeah, there's stuff to explore as far as the timeline goes and how this stuff happens, because obviously there's a notable character in the first one played by Michael Clark Duncan, who has a gold eye in the first one, and we see how he gets that eye here in the second one, played by Dennis Haysbert. So that would tend to say that some of the storylines are, prequel to it, but then obviously the Bruce Willis and Jessica Alba stuff is definitely a sequel. Yet there's bar scenes where both the characters are interacting, or in the same scene or environment. So it's definitely a confusing and perplexing film to dissect in a way, but I think that's kind of part of the draw to Sin City and what they're doing with it, maybe for some people. But what did you guys think of Mickey Rourke in this one compared to Mickey Rourke in the first one?
In what way?
Did you like his character as much as you did in the first one?
Yeah, he's still really fun to watch.
He was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. He really is like the best part of both of those movies.
Yeah, I think Mickey Rourke is probably the best part about the second one still, or about the whole film, the whole series in general. And then obviously I like you guys, really enjoyed the Joseph Gordon-Levitt portion of this one.
Totally.
And then we also had, and I don't want to get this wrong here, but the character that changed actors.
Michael Clark Duncan's character?
No. The other guy that was friends with the prostitute.
Oh.
Clive Owen and who was he in the other film?
Benicio del Toro.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin. I'm
it.
sorry, that character. What did you guys feel about that? And was it weird that was the same character yet a different actor? Did that throw you off at all, or what did you feel about that storyline, Nate?
They did preface it.
Yeah, they did. But what did you feel about that storyline, Nate?
I don't know. It was good. It's weird, like, looking at it back now. It's been too long. That's a problem. I don't know. I remember enjoying watching Josh Brolin, but I think that one for me was also a one that was like wasn't as good as the first. Like, there wasn't anything to really grab me about it.
Yeah, I do think they did maybe at least, talking about improving on the first one, or if they attempted to do anything kind of similar to what they did with the first one. I felt like they did even do more with the coloring in this one, and I felt like shadows played a bigger part than they did in the first one. But I feel like they used a few more accent colors in this one than they did in the first one, whether it be Ava Green's eyes. When the green that they used on that, some of the different things that they did with color, I thought were even more pronounced than they did with the first one. So I will say that at least in that respect, I felt like it kind of expounded on that aspect of the first one. But definitely both films are visually entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not high art, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Matt, overall, anything else about the film that we didn't talk about that you wanted to get out there or that you wanted to express?
No, I think we covered it.
What about a rating? What kind of rating would you give this film?
The Sin City 2, I would say I would give it, if it were the first one, which it could probably work as just the first one, I would give it a 4, but since the first one had done a lot of the things, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Absolutely worth seeing in theaters, but not going to be the best movie of the year.
Nate?
Well, I remember seeing the first Sin City and really enjoying it, and now, like after rewatching it a few times several years later, I don't think as highly of it. I'd probably give this movie like a 2.5.
Ooh.
And then the first one I'd probably give like a 3.
Interesting.
I don't know. I swapped my opinion entirely on that one because I used to really like that movie. And it's weird because that one was supposed to be the good one, right? And then The Spirit came out and everyone hated it, right? But I love The Spirit.
You silly little guy. Just kidding. I I enjoyed both of them. It was my first time watching both of them, so I guess I didn't have the 15-year span to let the first one digest. And I honestly feel like they're both very good. I think the first one does a lot of things well. I think the second one does some different things as well as some of the similar things. I think there are some drawbacks and there are some question marks during the second one that remain unanswered, I guess, so to speak. And some of the storylines, the main storyline in particular, is maybe not quite as entertaining as the main storyline from the first film. That being said, I enjoy them very much on the same level, I think. I'd probably give them both a 3.5 star rating. I don't think they're necessarily the best films ever made, but they're very entertaining. They were a lot of fun for me to view. And so I can't really necessarily say too much bad about them. So I would suggest anybody that has been putting it off for some reason, like I did for some silly reason, go out and see both of them back to back. It'll feel like one long movie with weird casting changes in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as Blu-ray stuff coming out this week, anything that you guys, obviously the big one here would be Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which is coming up. There's a Godzilla double feature. I don't know if that has anything to do with the Godzilla film that came out this year or not. I did not do my research on that one. For Marvel fans, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the complete first season S.H.I.E.L.D. comes out this Tuesday. And what else we got here? Not a whole bunch, I guess. Dominated by Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Will either of you be picking that up?
Probably not right up. No, probably not.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably not.
I've got half of I think I've got most of Wave 1 over here, but I didn't buy any of them. Maybe bought them all.
right. Those types of films I always wait for. When I know there's going to be more and more, I try to wait and save my
You're a
money
box set guy.
for the box set. As far as theater releases, I guess you can fully expect Guardians of the Galaxy to remain at number 1. Because I'm not seeing anything that's coming out this week that's going to replace it.
Dolphin Tale 2, dude.
Dolphin Tale 2. I will take note of that.
Atlas Shrugged Part 3.
Yeah, I didn't even know Part 2 had happened, and I never saw Part 1, so.
Me either.
The disappearance of Eleanor Rigby. Is there any chance Guardians of the Galaxy is not number 1 next week?
Probably not.
I'm thinking Dolphin Tale 2 is going to make 10 million. At least.
I think you're crazy.
All right, fine. I don't know anything about movies. Shut up.
The dolphin tail, that's the one where the dolphin doesn't have a tail and they make like a robot tail for it?
Haven't they done that film before?
Yeah, Dolphin Tail 1. Come on, Kevin.
Joke. Anyway, credit conversation. It's that time. Last time, which was a little less than a month ago, we did an episode on Under My Skin. I'm sorry, Under the Skin.
Making jokes.
And I said some things, and people didn't really like them. Particularly one individual.
Insurgent film fan.
Yeah, Insurgent Cinema, which, first off, Insurgent Cinema has been a long-time listener and a long-time commenter on NY Weekly / Weekend at the Movies. And a lot of times he's agreed with us. A lot of times he's said some good stuff about the stuff that we've had to say. Apparently, due to what we said on Under the Skin, we became wanker fanboys that no longer deserved the right to talk about films in general.
Yeah, we lost our credibility as podcasters because we didn't like one film.
And he even called us effing clowns.
Aww.
And effing retards.
No.
Yeah, he was very, very perturbed.
No, I read it.
And to a point where I don't even understand how you can be that upset about a movie.
Any movie ever.
Yeah, the point of us doing this is to have fun talking about movies, so we're definitely not trying to piss anybody off this
much.
Well,
the thing is, like I enjoy it when people say, "Hey, your opinion is not the same as mine, but here's why it's a good
Right.
movie." Did he say why it was a good movie?
No, he was very much just trying to say that we're idiots for saying anything bad about it and why we were
Okay.
idiots. But I will say that Movie Revolt Dan, a super fan of Under the Skin, did come to our defense there, pointing out that that was probably not the best way to have an intelligent conversation with us. To which Insurgent Cinema replied, "An opinion on a movie does determine your intelligence."
Wow.
Um,
That's okay. Well, anyway, listen.
So
I
I'm gonna
like
take.
being challenged. I enjoy being challenged by other people. You know, it makes me rethink of what and like I think I was the least like I wanted to give that film the most chance out of all three of us. But you know, I like being challenged. But dude, don't call us effing retards. That's mean.
well, I'm not even upset about that. I would prefer to have an intelligent conversation where we can debate points about the movie,
Yeah.
which he clearly wasn't interested in doing, which I
Did
apologize. And like I said, he said a bunch of good things, and we've had good interactions with him in the past. So hopefully that was just a minor blurb on the radar. But the other thing that he did, which I actually sometimes find myself almost doing this too, is while listening to a podcast, I start writing a reply. Well, no, I start writing a reply while I'm listening to it because I'm afraid I'm going to forget one idea or one comment I have while I form more as I go through. Um, but the key there is to not actually post the comment until you're done listening to the whole podcast, which I've had to like train myself to do, because sometimes they'll address issues that I think I'm addressing in the comment, and then they'll address it later in the podcast. Because he was saying how we never even made an attempt to discuss what the point of the movie was or what we thought the point of the movie was, etc. In which Matt specifically questioned me as to what I thought the point of the movie was, which on the spot I might not have explained well enough. Um, but I guess I could give you a quick cliff notes. I'm not trying to get too much into the movie, but I understood the movie, looking back and being able to form my thoughts now as this alien race who had come down to Earth or somehow found themselves on Earth that were basically investigating, observing the human condition or human nature or human beings in general, taking the form of a female, knowing that females seem to have this interesting power over males, etc., and held a kind of a specific place in society. Took the form of one of those females, and her job was basically to lure men in and into the abyss of her black pool-like basement or whatever, in which case they got processed and turned into what they got turned into. And at one point, there's a clear scene in which she takes the guy that has had some physical defects or whatever condition that he had. And she did the same thing, lured him in, et cetera, et cetera. And then on her way out, there's a scene where she's staring at the mirror and she's starting to have compassion or have feelings, have emotions in which she's not supposed to have as this alien creature. She lets the guy out. He's running in the field. Her superiors or the people that put her in that place, the guy on the bike, go collect that guy and kill him anyways. And
Spoilers.
spoilers, I'm sorry. And then she proceeds to try to do all these different things to feel human. She tries to eat food. She tries to have sex. She tries to do all these different things that are becoming weird and stuff that she's not obviously accustomed to doing. But in the same breath, she's somewhat becoming more in touch with human nature, I guess, in a way, to the point where she is basically revolting against the aliens that have put her there to do her job, and then they basically are going to do away with her. To which we have the whole scene in the forest where she's getting doused with gasoline, eventually set on, and comes out of her shell, so to speak, and we see the alien under the skin. I mean, I don't think I'm so far off in seeing that as the main gist of the film, and
well, I think you're just explaining the plot and not really.
Well, yeah, I
'Cause-
mean that's the plot and that's how it goes. So it's a look at human nature. It's a look at
Yeah.
seeing things at surface value, seeing things under that are more than meets the eye, so to speak, and just an investigation on how we view beauty, how we view human nature, and how things that we're caught up in might look like to an outside viewer, so to speak. I mean that's the real quick cliff notes of it. So I mean, I don't think I'm that far off in getting what the point or what one of the points could be that the writer or the director was trying to get out of the film. So I tried to address it in the first film. Hopefully, I addressed it maybe better that time. My point was that I feel like I'm not really being patronized, but I feel like when a movie has to do it in that way to try to get a point across to me, it's not something for me. It's not that it's not something for everybody else, and it's not like it's an artistic film, and it has nothing to do with it being abstract or not necessarily as story driven or dialogue driven as a bunch of other films. It's more so that it didn't keep my interest was the problem, and films have done that and kept my interest, but that one didn't. So that was my main problem with it. But I apologize that I differ from your opinions. Matt, he addressed you too, so I can give you a chance to say some things too.
Oh, dude, it's been like a month. What did he say about me?
About the wanting to change it and put a narrator in, and
I didn't say, hey, they should change this movie and put a narrator in. I said I think I might have enjoyed it more if there was a narrator.
right.
Which is why I want to read the book, but I don't know if I want to read the book badly enough to spend money on buying the book. But yeah, no, I don't think they should change this movie. I think they should leave it as it is. I just don't think it's a movie for me. And if Nate wants to watch it, in a super serious lights down situation, I'll do it. I'll sit it there and watch it again one more time. That's it.
You give it one more chance.
Well, this is a movie that you have to see at least how many times before you can truly understand.
All Americans should see at least twice, at least one time in theaters.
If you get that reference, please post what it is, and I will forever be impressed.
Especially because we mentioned it 2 months ago. So
yeah,
you
proves
a
that
fan?
you're listening.
But I don't know. Insurgent film fan. Insurgent film fan. That's
cinema.
Yeah,
cinema.
Dude, I'm gonna quote Bob Kavoyan of the Bob and Tom Show. If you're gonna be like that, we don't need you to listen to us.
Oh.
Like,
as bad as that sounds, it's pretty true.
Like, if you're willing to have a debate, if you're willing to have a discussion, let's have a discussion. If you're gonna yell at us because we disagreed with your opinion, there are other podcasts. Go listen to Talking in Circles. It's pretty fun. I've listened to it. I enjoyed it.
I like it.
Go listen to Rhapsody Cast.
Go listen to Rhapsody Cast. We don't have opinions on that one at all.
I can't pimp out any other show that I'm on. Dang it. Okay. But there was a lot of discussion. I can't even that took so far away from what our question was. Our question was, how will the new Power Rangers movie do at the box office? And I feel like
did anyone talk about that?
Yeah, some people amongst that whole thing, which a lot of people chimed in on and made comments on. Super Film Fan came to our defense, as well as Movie Revolt Dan. There was some people that talked a little bit about Power Rangers film. I think most people didn't think it was going to do that well.
Right.
And then we got into a discussion on franchises, about the Turtles doing well. So Power Rangers maybe could do well. And then someone that said Power Rangers fandom is second to none and is only growing. To which I again said some things that angered some people. Mostly
I do know that Power Rangers fandom is huge and growing, but to say second to none is kind of wrong.
My reply was Star Wars, Star Trek, My Little Pony, Pokemon, Transformers. I mean, it might be bigger than a couple of those, but DC, Marvel.
Yeah, there are other ones that are not only bigger but also growing. I don't think Power Rangers is growing that much. I think its fans, other than very small children, who are getting into the newer ones, which don't happen all that often because they're on the higher ups in cable right now. Yeah, other than that, I don't think its fandom is growing all that much.
Yeah, I just don't see it doing as well as some of those other fandoms do at the cinema. So, but we'll wait and see.
It's fun. I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to other people enjoying it and wanting to see it, and for those people, I hope it does do well, so that you guys can see stuff that you like.
Wait, you're saying that you can have a different opinion than me, and I don't have to go and die?
No, you can enjoy it.
I'm not even retarded.
No, you can enjoy your film. You can get more of them. I just won't be going with you to see them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I did not even have time to think of a question for next week, but I know that one of you guys did. And I know it's going to have something to do with Halloween or horror films.
Why would it be about Halloween?
Because it's getting to that season and will probably be a month before we do another podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, oh. Come on. Come on. I'm like the only one that's like, I could do it every night. Come on, guys.
Or we could say who has the better Jungle Book going.
No. Who has the best jack-o'-lantern in the movie?
Yeah, dude. Is it Halloween 2 with the knife?
Or Halloween Town with...
Oh, dude, on the Disney Channel.
The Disney Channel.
Okay, we got just multiple things you can respond to here. First of all, are you more like Matt and I, where you don't necessarily love this season of movies? I
want to be spooked.
Or do you want to be spooked like Nathan?
I want to be spooked.
What are your feelings about the late September, early October film going experience? Because this is when we get everything. This is when we get our, this is when the stuff like Scream comes out and Blair Witch Project and did I say Scream? Because I meant Saw.
But we also get a bunch of Oscar movies.
No,
so you got Scream too as well. Like
you don't usually get your Oscar movies till after the Halloween season.
Yeah,
like November.
Ends.
All right, fine.
Yeah, then into the end of October through November, December, you get some good stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But are you like me and Matt, or are you more like Nate? Do you like this season? Do you not like this season? What are your favorite Halloween movies? And answer all those types of questions. Or tell us which Jungle Book you like better so far, the Disney one or the Andy Serkis one.
So,
yes.
To defend my manliness, I don't really care. I'm totally like a lady. But, I don't like scary movies. I don't like to watch scary movies. And, I'm very prone to nightmares and stuff. And so those things have always been a problem ever since I was a very young child.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say I'm 100% against scary things. I've found recently, I have a 1-hour commute at 3 a.m. through farm country. It's pretty dang boring.
So you don't want to see children porn?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to see that movie. But I've been listening to Welcome to Night Vale, a podcast, which is essentially like, it's essentially like the newscaster for every town in the Twilight Zone. And it's just this like slow drone, like the local government says, do not worry about the storm clouds that are glowing in the eastern fields. Bill Jenkins, the farmer towards the east of town, says that it's been raining dead cows on his farm for the last 3 days, but you never know if you can trust him, right? And it's just like that. And it's so good and it's so unsettling. Like, I'm just driving like, oh, no. But, like, the fact that it's not visual, I think, makes it okay.
See, and
no, dude, that would make it worse because it's all in your mind and you have the worst imagination ever.
The worst I
have a really powerful imagination.
Yeah.
My thing with the Halloween season of films, I don't mind, actually, the scary aspect of stuff. I don't mind the thrillers, the suspenses, and some of those types of Halloween films. I just strictly do not want to see the slasher, blood and guts, gory type Halloween films. That's where I lose interest real quick.
Yeah, those movies suck.
So I'm not a big fan of like the Jason movies or the Freddy Krueger movies or that type of Halloween film. I'm also not a fan of the paranormal, activity type all that stuff. If it's something that's just not as blood and gory, but still scary, spooky, or suspenseful, or a thriller like, then I'm on board. So I guess that's kind of where I draw the line. Or if it's a movie about killer blank, ants or bees or cats or dogs or snakes or whatever.
Sharknadoes.
Well, I've never seen that one, but all those other films I'm down for. For some reason, I like those types of films.
Well, those are usually on the campier side of things.
Yes. Except when it's killer cats.
Really?
Nothing
what
campy
movie is
about
that?
killer cats. I don't know, but there's a movie that exists, and this lady has like an old cat lady, and cats took over her house and killed her, and then there was just a million cats, and if anyone went to the house, they got killed by cats. I don't really remember much about the film, obviously. But
that was one of your, like, you were super young, and then it was like on VHS.
My sister was watching it, I think. But I remember like certain episodes of TV shows or movies where it was like killer ants or something like that. And what intrigued me about those films is not how ridiculous it is or how funny it might be or campy or even. I was always interested in the ways. I wanted to know how they were going to solve it. What way or what scheme were they going to come up with to combat whatever it was? Like, how are they going to beat the fire ants, or how are they going to do that? That's what kind of intrigued me about those films, and it still does. I would watch all those again and again. Just
interesting.
So that's my stance on it. But everybody probably has a different opinion about those types of films and which Halloween-style films they like and which they don't. So feel free to share that. Anybody else? Any closing thoughts on that topic?
No.
Nope.
But,
all right. Go ahead.
I would totally recommend that you go and listen to Rhapsody Cast and Welcome to Night Vale.
And the podcast, the other podcast I'm involved with, which doesn't exist right now.
GCRN
Eventually, you'll get there.
Only specifically the episodes that Kevin is in,
Yes.
which is almost all of them.
There will be one very soon, though, coming out, I'm sure. I have a couple things in the works if I ever have free time. All right. So go listen to Rhapsody Cast. And thanks, as always, for joining us here on Weekend at the Movies. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Go to geekcastradio.com and find the post and comment on it, because that's where we get most of our interaction. You can also search us out on Facebook and figure out every time a different thing gets released for Geekcast Radio Network by following us on Facebook. Twitter is at Geekcast Radio, hashtag MWire. Mine is at Optimus Solo. Matt, yours is?
At Fridley Scent.
And Nate, yours is?
At Adolfo Shabadoo.
Yes. So that is it for us. Remember, for all things movies, keep tuned to Weekend at the Movies.
All right. No, seriously, I'm
Literally
gonna try.
like that cricket is got closer and closer to the microphone as the podcast went on.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
What?
No, I sprayed Raid. It was like a shot.
And you killed it.
I must have. Maybe it got scared.
It's not making noise anymore.
Zero noise.
It went out instantly, and there was actually a sound of as if you had squished him under your foot.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I just heard, oh, God.
Maybe it was the raid spraying out and made the sound.
What he said, like when he said the rage sprayed out, half of me was like, oh no, was he holding the can backwards?
I was thinking his leg exploded.
All right.
You ready?
I think I killed it. If I didn't, then it's taken a bath in a Raid. So
That happens. All right.
the hell is that? Okay, that was just some dust.
Oh, the adventure you're having down there while you're doing it.
Oh, that stinks. It's got like a perfumey smell.
I'm just gonna let Nate continue.
All right, I
We're
think
getting
I'm
all
okay.
this recorded, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Outtake.